welcome to the first episode of Learning in Public, a show in which Grayson and I here learn in public. Today we are in sunny and beautiful.
It's a really, really good title for the podcast.
Yeah, it's very apt. Today we're in sunny and beautiful Albemarle County in Walnut Creek State Park, right next to a chain link fence, because there are more people here than there once was.
I think we are editing these chain link fence out of the.
Oh yeah, we'll edit it out in post.
Yeah. You won't see it. Don't worry.
We'll edit it in post, and there'll be like big robot dinosaurs behind us too. So it's
and in front of us.
In front of us,
in the specialized edition of our podcast.
We actually will be, in the Patreon exclusive version.
This is not. We can't talk about Star Wars, Drew. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow it.
All right, let me look at my little notes here about what we're supposed to do next. Grayson.
Okay, what's our format?
Next up, we're supposed to do a 2-minute what you been up to / how's it been.
Okay, Drew, what you been up to / how's it been? How have you been, man?
Well, I've been all right. This week, I think I really needed this to happen this week because, as we all know, this is the Corona times, and it didn't hit me until now, like a few days ago, like how everything, like I can't see anyone anymore, really, and like have like social interaction with people.
It's taking you this long to notice
I
this?
know, it really had, and it's because I was talking to Sarah about it, and it's like, my routine didn't really change.
Hey, you work from home.
Like, I've been working from home for over a year, or almost a year. And so nothing really was different for me except that Sarah was around a lot more, which was nice. But then it was like, and in my head I was like, okay, this will pass. Right?
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Like maybe in a few months or something, we'll just like, it'll be all back to normal. We'll have made a vaccine and everything will be fine.
Still fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed for, right? But this week it hit me that this is going to be kind of the new normal for a long time. Yeah. And I'm such like an extroverted person. Like the thing I was thinking about was that I haven't given anyone a hug in like about 2 months.
Yeah. And
that was such like a big part of my identity.
And you're not even going to be able to shake hands, let alone
exactly.
hug, probably ever again.
Exactly. Like the whole idea of me saying to people in meetings, like when I meet people for business stuff, I'm like, I'm a hugger. Is it okay if I just give you a hug?
I think we'll all take after the Japanese style where we'll just bow to one another and there's no contact involved.
People say that might be a real thing.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
I don't like touching people. I would be fine with that.
Well, that's how my week has been so far.
That's funny because I'm not as extroverted as you. I think I might appear to be so sometime on the outside, but I have been thriving in these times. Well, nothing has.
Grayson's life is better.
I mean, not a lot has changed. I work at a park, not this park, but I work at a park, and the biggest difference is there's hardly anybody there, which. That's fine.
And your job usually required you to interact with people.
A lot of interaction, yeah. So that has been a big change. I'm doing a lot less interaction now. But I mean, I still spend a lot of time outside. I got a bike yesterday. I've been riding my bike around. I've been gardening. It's been all right.
Playing ping pong.
I've been playing a lot of ping pong. I'm getting pretty good. We're going to have to play one of these days. Maybe one of these episodes.
We'll do an entire one where we
just play ping pong while we talk.
Oh,
wow. That could be great.
Once we get really good at this.
And really good at ping pong also.
And also really good at ping pong. Well, that was more involved than I thought it was.
That was an
be.
Intro.
No
one's going to be able to listen to that and say that wasn't an intro to the podcast.
And now you know a little bit more about us.
And I think we can edit out probably almost all of it.
Yeah. It'll just be like, how are you? And it'll be like,
it'll just be a little clip that's like, gut, and then it'll cut.
It'll cut directly into the topic. Which let's transition a little bit because every week on this podcast, how the format works is we're going to be discussing a topic that we have been researching or learning about that's of interest to us. And so, Grayson, what's your topic this week?
Oh, am I starting?
Do you not want to?
I'd love to.
Okay.
My topic this week is birdsongs.
Birdsongs?
Or bird vocalizations in general. Bird vocalizations.
Okay.
So what do you know right now? I think this will be a cool way to start. Is what is your baseline? What do you currently know about bird vocalizations.
Okay, so my grandmother...
Oh my goodness, Drew.
What?
I haven't opened this notebook in a very, very long time, and I've been looking for this. This is the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition.
On Nintendo GameCube.
Nintendo GameCube. It has the first 2 Zelda games, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I have been looking for this for probably 5 years.
Oh.
This podcast has brought Majora's Mask back into my life. Thanks, podcasting.
Wow, did you plant that, or was
I did
that
not.
real?
That's real. That's real life, and I had no idea where it was. I haven't used this in so long. I couldn't find any of my other notebooks. This is the notebook I used to use in high school for writing stories and things. There's a lot of old, terrible things that I've written in here, and bad drawings, and Zelda discs.
Apparently.
So I'm sorry for that distraction.
No, that was fantastic.
That was a momentous moment.
A magic notebook.
The magic notebook. That movie, The Notebook, is about this.
About that notebook.
Yes.
And it's about Legend of Zelda, actually. It's not about...
I haven't seen the movie. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with Zelda. So what do you know about bird vocalizations?
Okay, bird vocalization. So I know very little, but I will tell you, my grandmother in... like my grandparents' house, she has in her kitchen a clock that at every hour sings a different bird song.
That is awesome.
It is very cool.
Do you remember any of the birds that were on the clock?
I believe there was a finch, and the blue jay, and those are, I'm literally going by what they look like on the clock. I'm not going by what they sound like.
That's cool. We're going to talk about blue jays in a bit, too.
Really? Wow. It's
they
like we planned that.
We did, yeah, sure.
I'm worried that my mic is really loud, but it's not, and so I keep looking down to check that, just so you know. I'm not distracted by anything, but
are you watching
own fear.
Are you watching like a little movie?
I'm watching the little levels move up and down. Yeah, I am a little loud. I knew I was a little loud.
Can't you fix that in post?
I can fix it a little bit in post. I just want to make sure I don't record too loud.
Yeah.
Because if I do that, then bad juju gumbo happens.
I had that for dinner last night, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's bad juju gumbo?
Yeah. Oh. It wasn't good. I didn't like it.
So tell me about bird songs, Grayson.
Okay. So first of all, Drew, do you know why birds... So there's a distinction between bird calls and bird songs. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But do you know why birds sing or why they call?
I assume that they are communicating about, like, food towards their, like... Because don't birds, like... Aren't they kind of pack animals? They have flocks?
Well, they can. Some will flock.
Yeah, so they're, like, communicating to each other about, like, what's what?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. So... a bird call. So with the distinction, there are a few ways to make the distinction, and it's a little bit unclear. But usually, a bird call is usually a simpler, sound, and it's usually something that is innate to the bird. They already just do it naturally. A bird song is usually more complex, and it will usually be something that they actually learn. They learn from their parents, and they learn from other birds that are around them. Sometimes even older birds in the same little nest as song is usually learned and is usually more complex, and they're used for different reasons. So, you mentioned birds
much like in Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time, which ties back to the fact that Legend of Zelda was in your notebook.
Exactly how in Ocarina of Time you have to learn different songs for different reasons, right?
Right.
Yeah. See, I planned all of this. Yeah. So, you mentioned, like, flocking. Mm-hmm. So, birds might call, if you think about, like, the way geese honk constantly when they're flying, especially. Mm-hmm. So things like that, birds might call to help kind of keep their flock together, communicate something about that. They'll also call for, as an alarm. If they see you walking around, one might call, and that might tell the rest of the birds around. Maybe birds of the same species, maybe not, because sometimes little groups of birds will involve different birds, different species. Might tell them, hey, there's danger here, let's get out of here. Another reason they might call is kind of similar, but it's to mob something. So have you ever seen crows mob a predator?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're all cawing, and that's kind of their way that tells them, hey, everyone, hey, all the crows in the area, let's get together and let's get this hawk or this cat or whatever it is that they see as a threat.
Wow. In the movie, is it Birds?
The Hitchcock movie?
Yeah, they do that in that movie, right?
It's been a while. I'm sure they do.
Oh,
right?
that's interesting.
Are there crows that are pecking people's eyes out and things and that?
I don't really remember. All I remember is that there are loud. I had never thought about how the crow, or like that's a trope basically in movies, right? Is like crows that are like making that like horrible, like I'm gonna attack you noise.
Yeah.
So that's what they're kind of doing.
They're kind of calling the cavalry.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Be kind of cool. So that would be a call. That's something they usually wouldn't have to learn, and it's usually a simple, you know what a crow calling sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
A song, usually more complex, and that is usually more to defend territory or to attract mates.
Defend territory.
Yeah.
What
Birds are very territorial.
Wait, but how does the song defend the territory?
So they will fly around and they'll call, and them calling there lets other birds know
that like step off. This
right,
is
exactly.
This is taken basically.
Yeah, this area is taken, and the cool thing about it is that calls not only the quality of the call, as well as like the repertoire, because birds can learn different repertoires. Those things they're actually reliable indicators a lot of times of like how physically fit the bird is.
Interesting.
And by physically fit, I mean like evolutionarily fit. So it actually is a true indicator. Not only if they're calling and another bird hears it, like, whoa, that was a good song. That actually probably means that bird is more fit than me, and I don't want to mess with him.
Really?
Yeah, and that's always good. See, displays like that, it's just a territorial display. That's usually really beneficial in the animal kingdom, right? Because an actual fight is usually bad. Like if
for
you
your
and
species.
If you and I fought together right now,
right,
we would probably both get injured.
Right, and that's bad for
I would definitely. But we probably wouldn't enjoy it. But it would be better if you and I would just kind of shout at each other.
Come to a mutual agreement.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's beneficial for both parties that way. And the same is true for birds trying to attract mates. That's usually, a bird song can be a reliable indicator of how like good quality this bird is. So should I mate with this bird or not? I don't know. He sure does sing very, very good songs.
Wow.
That's kind of interesting, right?
That's very interesting.
So,
in terms of like humans, is that why we enjoy being serenaded to as well? Is that like a display of...
Probably.
That's so interesting.
That would make sense, right?
Like that's why we value singers.
And why you might,
and music.
And now I'm just totally just making things up. Because this was based on facts, but now we're going to make things up a little bit. That would make sense, though. I mean, think about like a really powerful, bellow kind of song.
Mm-hmm.
Like that could be very attractive. I don't know.
Or even like your doppelganger namesake of Jason Derulo, or as I like to call you, Grayson Derulo.
Sure. Yeah. He does call me that. That's
like that type of display, like that. The idea that we value musicians that
I think
produce.
I think you could, and you could probably say the same about like dance also.
Yeah.
Why like dancing could be a good thing. Like if this person is a good dancer, they're probably
physically fit and attractive,
and would be a good person to
get it on with later,
so to speak.
Wow, that's fascinating.
That's an interesting idea. So another cool thing. Birds do not have a larynx like we do. We have a larynx.
I don't know what that is.
It's a voice box.
Okay.
We have a voice box.
I do know that.
It's called a larynx. Birds actually have a syrinx, which is different. Ours is kind of one-sided, so we can make one sound at once.
Mm-hmm.
Birds actually have a two-sided voice box, so some birds can actually make two sounds at once. There's a bird.
How apt.
Yeah, see, that was perfect timing. I don't know what kind of bird that was, but that's actually what kind of helps them be such good singers. They can change tones way more quickly than human singers can.
Wow.
And it's because they have a two-sided voice box.
Wait, okay, so that bird over there that is making noise, and it's not making the same, sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's slightly different.
Yeah.
So are those different songs?
Those could be different songs in the same repertoire, yeah. So something like a mockingbird, they will just pick up anything they hear. And it's not really mimicry because they're not trying to pretend they're another bird, but they'll just pick up sounds that they hear, and they'll just kind of make their own little songs. And they'll usually do that in like sequences of 3. So like these 3 calls, and then switch to another 3 calls. So they'll know a bunch of them. I actually have here written the brown thrush. I think is on the upper level of the number of songs that it can know. But this is not for a single individual. But there have been 3,000 different recorded songs. I said thrush, brown thrasher. From the brown thrasher, 3,000 different songs.
What the hell?
Isn't that crazy?
Of the whole species, though.
Yeah, I don't think from one individual.
That's crazy, though.
That's pretty cool, right?
And so how do they decide I don't know if you...
How do they decide which ones to sing?
How do they decide what the songs mean and like all these things? That's out of the realm of the Magic Notebook.
Well, no, I mean, this is studied extensively.
Wow.
The more I dug into this, the more I realized, well, I'm not going to be able to research this topic entirely because there's
so much stuff.
Billion things.
Now I know why people like bird watching and like going out and like thinking about the birds.
And that's sort of like the biggest topic here is, so I got on the Cornell lab, right? They do a lot of bird stuff.
Okay.
So on one of their pages, they say, when a bird sings, it's telling you what it is and where it is. Learn bird calls and open a window on your birding. Isn't that nice?
That's beautiful.
So and it's a lot easier to tell what a bird is and where it is based on if you hear it or not. You'll hear a lot more birds than you see. Right?
Wow.
Especially think about like an owl or any kind of a nightjar, like night birds. They're going to be really hard to see because it's dark usually when they're out. Mm-hmm. But you'll hear them more often. So it's a powerful thing to learn some bird songs.
It's
calls.
Just crazy to me that like the bird though could have 3,000 different songs.
Yeah, well, because they can learn. They can learn new things. And actually birds in different areas, same birds in different areas, actually they'll have dialects because...
What the hell?
So they're actually, I think it's possible to tell where a bird is from based on the different songs.
That's crazy. You know, my friend and your friend, Dat in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Oh, is he in Wisconsin? No, he's in Nebraska now. He was somewhere in Wisconsin last year. He is, I think it's cranes. The crane migration happens in Nebraska, and he's on the like reserve where all the cranes are at.
Cool.
And he gave us a quick PowerPoint presentation he was supposed to give to like visitors, but there are no visitors anymore.
Sure.
And it was wild to me to think about like where those birds have been that are coming to Nebraska.
Yeah.
As they go from like south to north and north to south.
It's a cool thing to think about.
It's crazy.
I mean, like we have hummingbirds. Have you seen hummingbirds this year?
No.
I've seen a few hummingbirds at my house. Just like this week, I've started to see them. But,
wow.
I mean, they come all the way from South America.
You told me that I think a couple weeks ago.
A bird
That's
this big
insane.
that drinks sugar water.
Travels
like, across the
thousands
Gulf
of miles.
It's very cool.
Insane.
And actually, they're kind of interesting. I think that one of their, it's sort of a call, and we're going to talk about non-vocal calls. But they will...
Oh my gosh, there's more. My topic is not this well researched.
Oh.
But you go for this is your...
But have you been around a hummingbird before?
I have, yes.
But have you heard them like kind of zoom by you and like really buzz?
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of a display for them. They vocalize also.
Really?
So I've never heard one vocalize, but I've heard recordings of it. But apparently they that's sort of one way. Can you think of any other birds that might make noises without actually vocalizing? This is a leading question.
Is it that bird that was here?
No.
That we went
the osprey?
Canoeing? No, the canoeing bird.
Well, we saw an osprey and we saw tree sparrows also.
Oh, yeah,
tree swallows.
Swallow, is that it?
No, it's hummingbird. I mean, not hummingbirds. Woodpeckers.
Oh, of course.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So they'll call also, but they drum as well.
Oh my God, they're
Also,
percussionists.
yeah, and you can actually tell what kind of woodpecker it is based on.
Has
the
anyone
drumming
ever
pattern.
formed a bird band in which they got
Do you mean get a bunch of
birds
birds together and record them?
Or like
that's sort of like a dawn chorus. If you're familiar with a dawn chorus.
No, I don't know what that is.
It's just if you wake up really early,
And
especially
you
in
hear all the
springtime,
birds?
and all the birds, they all just kind of start calling at the same time and singing. It's really magical.
Okay, so I'm gonna, after this, maybe while I'm editing, because I'll forget that I said this.
You're not gonna have to edit it. This is perfect.
Right out of the gate. I want to look up basically whether or not somebody has taken a bunch of recordings of bird songs and like layered them and made them into music.
Someone probably has done that.
That would be incredible.
That'd be really
cool.
cool.
We could really show that to the list, like put that in the show notes, and then people who listen to this
is a really
can...
interesting thing. There's a really famous. Are you familiar with Dvorak?
No.
The New World Symphony. You've heard this before?
I have heard that before.
You've heard, Anton Dvorak, whose name I'm probably butchering. But the song of, are you familiar with the Scarlet Tanager?
No.
The song of the Scarlet Tanager, apparently when he was composing that, he was from Europe, and he was composing here in North America, and he had never heard this bird before, and apparently it was sitting outside his window while he was composing and just constantly singing, and it really bugged him a lot, to the point where he actually sort of notated the song that it was making into the music. So you can actually hear the scarlet tanager in the music. This has been disputed where maybe it's a different bird and not a scarlet tanager, but it's probably a scarlet tanager.
That's actually incredible.
That's really cool, right? Okay, so I'm going to play you a bird, and you are going to guess what it is.
Okay.
Okay? We'll start with an easy one.
An owl.
What kind of owl, Drew?
The owls that are at your park.
Well, yeah, there's some of them. It's a great horned owl.
Great horned owl.
Okay.
I'm going to add that so it looks like I just did it direct.
Let's try this one.
Was that a bird?
This is a bird. I thought about putting some non-birds on here to trick you.
That sounds like a horse.
It does sound like a horse, doesn't it? I'll give you a hint. It's also an owl. It's a type of owl.
Snowy owl.
No. You have them around here in Virginia.
Grayson, I don't think you understand
it's an eastern screech
very
owl.
Little birds I know.
Here's a cool thing. Okay, yeah, so that's that. What's this?
I've heard that so many times. That's
Do you know what it is?
No, I don't. That's like a big movie sound effect, though.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
One of Joanna Newsom's albums actually starts with this noise. That's the one people always say. I heard an owl in the middle of the day. It's usually a mourning dove. It's a mourning dove.
Oh, it's not an owl at all?
That's not an owl. No, it's a mourning dove.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, save the rest of those recordings, and we'll do them as a quiz, and people can submit.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And
Can I do one more?
Yes, do one more. This will be so here, stop it for a second. This will be, if you can guess the name of the next bird recording, we will shout out your name on the next episode of the podcast.
Oh, sure. Okay, let's try this one. And I'll give you a hint. Birds, much like Pokemon, oftentimes say their own name. So if you can kind of figure out what words he's saying.
Oh, wait, hang on. One more thing. We will also read 3 sentences that you write to us on the podcast.
Specifically if you're teaching us about something. So that we
I'm going to say anything.
Anything. Okay.
We'll say anything.
Okay, let's keep it PG.
Yeah, but keep it PG. We won't pick anything that's not.
Okay, listen. Here's the bird. Have you ever heard that before?
No.
Okay, you might hear that in the coming weeks, close to nightfall.
All right, that's a good hint, too.
It's a good hint, yeah.
Okay, my topic is far less researched, and I would say far less
I'm glad that you think that going on Wikipedia is good research.
So my topic is on something from e-commerce. Do you know anything, Grayson, about drop shipping? We're going to say yes.
I'm pretty sure that's when you're driving the boat and you pour a bunch of water into the ballasts to keep your boat down when you don't have any cargo that you're moving. I think that's drop shipping.
Wow. Okay, so that's fascinating. That's not what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But it's fascinating that you bring that up because it does align pretty well with what drop shipping is in the context of e-commerce.
That's because we planned this ahead of time.
Wow, that's incredible. So drop shipping is a new, I would say, trend thanks to the internet and the rise of e-commerce businesses in which people sell products that they do not own on the internet as a middleman to distributors. So imagine, Grayson, you're on Instagram and an ad pops up for like this watch company you've never heard of with these watches that say like, hey, free product, just pay shipping. Has this ever happened to you?
Yes, I assumed it was a scam.
Okay, so it is almost a scam.
Okay.
So really what that probably is a human, much like me, somebody who like maybe studied computer science, or somebody who I would say unlike me, who just wants to make a quick buck, who has gone on websites like Alibaba or AliExpress. Have you heard of these websites?
I know something about Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
Okay, that is not what that is the name.
That's the origin of the name.
Yes,
okay,
but Alibaba and AliExpress are basically like Amazons of cheap products in
it's the big lots,
East Asia.
The big lots of East Asia online.
Exactly, okay. In which they sell things basically at cost with slight markups. So you can buy stuff in bulk. You can buy like basically cheap products, like cheap Chinese manufactured products. And so what people do is they set up websites marketing products that they find on AliExpress, such as like cheap watches or sneakers or stuff like that, and then make them look really interesting and cool for a consumer, and then and do it through like something like Shopify or an e-commerce store. They basically make an e-commerce store for a product that they don't own. Because what they do is when you, Grayson, get that ad and are like, oh shit, a free watch.
Is this a cussing podcast?
I guess it is now. I could bleep it later.
Oh, you can bleep it. I want all the grandmas to be able to listen to this.
Oh, sure.
podcast.
Sure. Well, you cannot curse. I'll be the bad boy.
You're the bad. I've always thought of you as the bad boy of our friendship.
That's right. But, okay, so when you buy the product, they place an order with your information on AliExpress or Alibaba. So you bought a product for like $17. The product cost $3 on AliExpress. They just plug in all your information and they've made $14. And then you get the product in 3 weeks when the Chinese shipper sends it to you. This is called drop shipping because you... like the name suggests from like boating, is like you don't have any inventory, so you fill your cargo bay with basically junk or
cheap junk
that you don't actually have in the cargo bay, but you're balanced out. You still can like have a shop to sell things on the internet.
This is the wildest thing I've ever heard.
Yes, and so people on YouTube, dropshipping is a big keyword for like, it's the new get rich quick scheme basically with the young kiddos.
Okay.
Because you don't need really anything to start up except an internet connection. You need to know how to make a Shopify website, which is not hard at all. And you need to know how to use Facebook ads.
You told me that the big get rich quick scheme was podcasting.
Oh, that's our big get rich quick scheme.
Yes. That's called get not rich
at all very slowly. Yeah, and that's drop shipping. So there are a bunch of gurus on YouTube who try to teach you how to make like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day drop shipping, when what's really happening is they have faked these metrics on their little Shopify. Because you can imagine this is not a credible or sustainable way to run a business.
I would not think so.
Yeah, because you're not providing any value to the consumer.
You're a middleman.
You're literally just trying to be a middleman and get mass...
And trying to sort of like repackage garbage to look cool to me.
Exactly.
The hip youths.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And because the younger generations impulse buy so much more, because we get thrown ads much more.
Yes.
I
bought a bike. Did I mention I bought a bike yesterday?
But in that world, it can work kind of well. But yes, if you're thinking about drop shipping because you're watching this podcast and I've just described it and it seems like a nice way to make money, it's not.
You know, funny. It's funny, Drew. You just mentioned that. I think I'm going to start. I have this idea where I can buy a bunch of garbage and resell it. But it works for Big Lots.
So yeah, the thing that drop shippers will tell you is like, big companies have been doing this forever, so why not us?
Yeah.
But in reality, the big company controls their distribution network. They control the inventory, right? Because a drop shipper doesn't ever take inventory.
Where Big Lots actually will buy a bunch of stuff
all the stuff
okay.
and then actually provide the value of, we shipped it to you in 2 days, like Amazon. Because Amazon drop ships some products, but the way that they use drop shipping is not the way that these people who are e-commerce gurus will try to tell you.
Because they're actually providing a service.
Exactly. Okay. Whereas you running a Shopify website to sell garbage products.
My service is that I put an ad on Instagram that you saw.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's what these drop shipping gurus will tell you is like, no, we are providing value. These people wouldn't have known about this product otherwise.
Did you hear about the new Mike Myers movie, The Drop Shipping Guru? I've been really excited about it. It's been postponed because of COVID, but I'm really excited about watching that next
Check
year.
that out later.
Yeah, it's going straight to like CBS All Access
online.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
drop shipping.
That's drop shipping. That's my topic.
That's awesome.
So as a part of Learning in Public, there's a segment of this show where we get listeners to come on and tell us what they're learning. So hello, Faith. Thanks for being here. Can you tell us what you've been learning? Maybe lean over to Grayson's mic.
Hello. So I've been finishing up my last semester of classes for university, and
We call that college here in the United States.
Thank you. I've been taking this class called Cultures of Hip Hop, where we've been learning about, just kind of the history of hip hop and the cultural impact. And I just wrote my essay on Baby No Money.
Wow, that's fascinating. I have no idea what that is, but
Baby No Money, he's an artist. He's like a trap/rap artist who started...
Is that like painting artist, or is that like other
a music artist? He makes songs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He raps. And basically he got his fame through TikTok. He started on SoundCloud and he had like 6,000 followers. And then you might have heard this song La La La. Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay. I'll have to play it.
He was a famous dropshipper before he was.
But it's interesting because traditionally, like hip hop artists, or like any type of artist, like music artist Grayson, has had to go through a label in order to,
and he's self-published.
market their music.
It's kind of like Jonathan Colton.
Oh, that's very cool.
Self-released.
I'm all about self-publishing.
Yeah, and he started with just like throwing singles out and everything, and he got to a point where he was doing albums even before his song La 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 blew up, and now there's lots of others too. But it's kind of interesting because I think now he has like 160,000 followers on SoundCloud and like 30 million plays on Spotify last month.
Baby No Money.
Baby No Money. It's
all right.
BBNO.
This episode is brought to you by Baby No Money, friend of the show.
Great guy.
Faith, I'm going to play a bird call for you, and you have to identify it, okay?
I'm not going to be able to.
Try it. Do you have any idea what that is?
No. That sounds like the Vine where the like gopher is screaming.
It's not that. Listen to this. It's a different call, but it's the same bird.
Is it a hawk? I don't know.
It is a hawk. That's really good. Good job. It's a red-tailed hawk. I played that trying to trick you because a lot of times in movies you'll see an eagle and it'll make that noise. And that's not the noise that eagles make. That's a red-tailed hawk.
Is
Good job.
This something you've talked about before?
Yes, Grayson's topic was bird calls.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was our first half of the show.
Sweet.
Well, cool, Faith. Thanks
Good job.
for being here.
Thanks for having
Thanks for
me.
being our first guest.
Oh, my pleasure.
Baby No Money. That's what we learned here from Faith Surrey. Thank you, Faith.
Red-tailed Hawks by Faith Surrey.
So I think this is like an hour-long podcast then.
We'll see.
We're already 40 minutes.
That's pretty good. It could be an hour long.
An hour long, I think, is fine.
I didn't realize how easy it would be to fill an hour.
People have hours to fill now.
People have lots of hours, including us. So we might as well be recording the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so is it time for ads?
We're going to take a little break and be right back. This podcast was sponsored by my company and business, Lumastic. Lumastic is an online platform for creators and entrepreneurs to connect, create, and collaborate together. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can check it out. We also put our show notes and resources and links up on Lumastic boards over there. So
do we?
Yeah, we do.
That's good to know. Lumastic's a really good resource. I've used it. I'm not just saying
Grayson.
that because you're here. I really do.
Yeah, if you want to read a couple chapters of Grayson's
No, we're not plugging
to
that.
be
We're
released
not plugging
novel,
that. We're not plugging the novel.
you can go over there and look up Grayson Harlow's profile.
Do not.
on Lumastic.com.
Do not do that.
You don't know. Maybe you'll get a book deal.
Yeah.
All right, back to the podcast. Welcome back, everyone. So, Grayson, this is the part of the podcast where we look forward to next week. So, what you looking forward to? / what are you going to be learning in the coming week? Are you sure I don't have to be afraid of this
He's crawling right
bee?
on you. That's pretty cool.
Do I have pollen on me? What does this mean?
No.
I'm kind of really grossed
He's
out
just
by what's
checking you out.
happening.
I mean, we can just brush him away. It's
Oh
fine.
my!
He's fine. He's not going to hurt you. Or he might. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
No, I mean, well, so, okay, with carpenter bees, the males are super aggressive, but they can't sting because males don't have stingers. Maybe next week I'll talk about bees. That's what we'll say. I'll do a little.
I would love that.
That sounds good, right?
Yeah. Okay, so
Maybe we'll talk about bees next week. Yeah,
a little bit of bees. I would love to know more about bees. Anything biology related, because as you know, I've not taken biology since 9th grade.
That's wild to me. That's cool.
So I know absolutely nothing, and I also did not pay attention in that class at all. So it's not even like I really knew anything from that.
Maybe this whole podcast can just be a review of 9th grade biology for you.
That would be
great. So you can finally pass that SOL.
Great. Well, next week I think I'm gonna keep on this general topic of finance, because you said that was something
I'm not going to know a single thing.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you.
Okay, so maybe I'll do one on like I've been learning a lot about like what to invest in the recession.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So I feel like that'd be rather interesting, and I can do a lot more on that than just dropshipping.
That would be cool. I would also at some point I'm not going to try to tell you how to live your life, but it'd be cool for you to tell me why we can't just print a bunch of more money like Chuck E. Cheese does.
Would you like to do one on like inflation?
At some point, I mean, because why can't we?
I could do one
because
on
I
the
truly
Fed.
don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, the Fed is a fascinating.
Because I'm still waiting on my sweet stimulus check, and
you're still waiting.
Yeah, I haven't gotten mine yet. But
did you file your 2019 taxes?
I did, but what did I do? I did. I wasn't on. I don't think I did direct deposit for it.
Oh, so
I think I'm waiting for a literal paper check.
Wow.
So it might be a minute before I get that. That's okay.
And that's all right.
That's all right.
Now we know it's set up direct deposit.
I am currently still working, so I'm not hurting.
That's true.
I'm not hurting, but so bad, you know.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, yeah. So we're gonna do some bees and some thing on the Federal Reserve.
I think it sounds really good. I'm gonna quiz you on another bird.
Okay, great.
Okay. Here it comes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
That part at the end should help you out a little bit, maybe. Or maybe it won't.
Grayson, I know nothing about birds.
This is the state bird.
The cardinal.
Northern cardinal.
Wow, that was one of the ones that was on the clock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They make a bunch of different sounds, but that's one of the sounds they make.
Wow, that's incredible. Wait, play it again.
Let's listen to that. That part at the end, that's what I hear most often.
Really?
Yeah. So what else is there on our show? Is that the end?
This is the end of the podcast. I didn't actually plan out a closing credits.
That's okay. Definitely, well, I mean, you can thank your girlfriend for hanging out with your dog while we recorded
That's true. Thank you, Sarah, for being with God. Thank you, Faith, for being our first listener submission, or first guest.
Yeah.
If you want to submit something that you've been learning to the podcast, please go to anchor.fm/learn-in-public. You can leave us a recording there and you might be featured.
Yeah, and you can also leave a submission for what kind of bird that was.
Yes, and you can take our bird quiz, the mystery bird. And again, the person that guesses that correctly can give us, we will shout out your name, and you can give us 3 sentences to say on next week's episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, Grayson, thanks for being here.
Do you have a what do you call it, sort of a closing, like a sign-off?
Oh, we need a sign-off.
Like a cool radio sign-off.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Thanks for watching.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's from The Truman Show. That's nothing.
We should do like a different sign-off every week.
That sounds confusing, but yeah, I like that. Okay, so this week it's your turn to do a sign-off, and you have to do it.
Oh, man. You just came up with a good one.
That was pretty good, right?
Yeah. Like, we just sign-offs that have been stolen from other things.
Just steal them from different references?
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, yeah, so this week, thank you for listening, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Thanks for listening, everybody. That's a wrap. First podcast done.